Hello, everyone, and welcome to Another Point of View, Season 5. At this point, you should know who I am, but in case you're a first-time visitor, this is Mr. Gerald Lord, and I'm joined today by special guest and good friend of the show, Crooklyn Banks. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Very glad to be here.
That's good. And we got a lot to talk about, so let's not delay, because it's been an interesting year so far. We've missed out on about 3 months' worth of stuff. So let's get started with what's happening now. Sort of. Recently, the Mueller report actually got turned in over in the United States of America. That's Robert Mueller. He's the special counsel. He was looking into collusion between the Trump campaign for presidency back in 2016 and whether or not they colluded with the Russian government. Thoughts? I know you made a prediction about that. We both actually did. And we got it right. It ended.
Well, yeah. It eventually was going to. It took forever. And despite...
Almost 2 years, yeah.
And despite what everybody and their mama was saying, no Donald Trump, no Eric Trump, no Donald Trump Jr., no Trumps at all were ever indicted at all.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with the Mueller report, but it is very important to note, I think, that a lot of media outlets got it wrong.
You mean all?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, most of them did. You got CNN, MSNBC. Did Fox News ever really give a position, aside from just covering it every now and again and saying, oh, it was...
I wouldn't know. I don't watch Fox, but I'm pretty sure they were on the... They were on the that Simpsons meme where Homer's disappearing into the into the brushes. As soon as it looked like it was going to turn away, they kind of just went full in. But then they were kind of like, oh, the Mueller probe exists. Did the president? They were kind of just on the whole. They would jump on it whenever it seemed like the evidence wasn't... I'm just saying this. When Jim Acosta got his press pass revoked, Fox News jumped in and said, we stand with him.
All right. So let's just lump them in with the... Didn't have a position, so they were probably wrong.
Yes.
The Huffington Post was way off. BuzzFeed, I think, lost any shred of credibility.
They had credibility to shred?
Yeah, BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed was the one that put that bombshell.
I think
what
they
was it?
moved.
Bombshell was one of the catchphrases of 2018. Every time any
I don't
little
know.
thing
I know
came out.
BuzzFeed has moved. They moved a building because they couldn't afford their rent. Then they had cut their staff by 10%. Not only that, they were also sued by the Covington kids.
Really?
Yeah, that lawyer right there is working on pro bono, and he's suing everybody.
Wow. Okay. So
in other words, kids, if you want to make a lot of money, just put on a Trump hat around a bunch of minorities and have them scream at you.
Okay. So yeah, Mueller investigation did end. That's one of my predictions for 2019. I didn't really give a position on it, but I kind of did think it was.
Oh, you didn't give a position on it? What's his check here from Fox?
I didn't give a position on it because
Gerald Lord with Donna Brazil tonight at 8.
But so I wanna put forth here the concept that the Mueller investigation, in its expressed purpose of finding collusion between the Russian government, was completely never going to happen. They weren't going to find anything. Trump, however, and his campaign are probably dirty on something. Probably some financial crimes, this and that. And there were plenty of financial crimes that they found them for as it was.
Like what?
Manafort, Flynn, those people.
Yeah, Manafort was fired.
That's
probably why he was fired.
You were investigating. People were indicted. They just weren't indicted for what they went out for. And
yes,
as I agree. Yeah, it was completely unfounded to go after a sitting president for treason that just wasn't there. So yeah, but I didn't really want to specify anything because we weren't even sure if he was going to say the findings. He could have turned in the report and just never made it public.
Well, he did turn in I think it was only like exposed because
Because of the demand to see the results. Barr, what is it? William Barr?
Yes.
Yeah, William Barr had the report turned into him by Mueller, and he basically gave a summary of it. And he said,
and Mueller recommended no indictments.
let's go with the actual quote he did for the summary he gave to Congress.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not want to get sued by Robert Mueller? Robert Mueller's going to break down that door.
To this. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, Mueller's gonna break down the door to the studio.
There you go.
And
Like,
arrest
Gerald
him.
Lord, we have you on money laundering charges.
So let's go with the official. Let's go with the official quote.
Okay, you do that.
The investigation for summary was the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. So Mueller technically did indict Russian personnel. He indicted 12 military intelligence officers, and he indicted a bunch of Russian people. He indicted the military personnel.
Oh, there was also some woman in the NRA that was from Russia who like slept her way up to the top.
Yeah, but that wasn't related to the.
Yeah,
he
I know
never
that.
indicted her. She just basically was.
Yeah, also the NRA isn't a government organization.
Yeah, they're a lobbying group.
Although there's a lot of government money going there.
For those non-American listeners, NRA, National Rifle Association.
Yeah, for people on the left, they're the boogeyman, and people on the right, they're the Holy Grail, when in reality, they are pretty weak on the Second Amendment. What they are.
So
I don't care how many neocons they have as their spokespeople.
So people were indicted and people were charged, but most of it was for financial crimes, this and that. So Mueller did widen the scope, and when he did widen the scope, it was bound to find something. Nothing on the Trumps, though. Probably because, it was...
Yeah, probably because he's probably pissed because, he was sold this fake dossier that the assistant attorney, or the deputy attorney general, Rosenstein, just sort of rubber stamped. Everyone kind of just glazed over that. And then he found...
You're talking Rod Rosenstein.
Yes, Rod Rosenstein was sold this fake dossier by British agent Michael Steele.
The Steele dossier.
The Steele dossier.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which apparently it's been sort of hot potato over who came up with it. It was thought it was the Jeb Bush campaign, then it was the Clintons. But apparently John McCain, everyone's favorite Republican... Assuming you remember him, because he
supposedly he was the one that turned it.
Yeah, he turned it into the FBI, thinking he was doing his duty as a government official. But then you remember John McCain's his duty consists of betraying the country at every instant in order to line up his pocket.
Okay.
Oh wait, what's that? Meghan McCain has said mean things about me. Wow.
So. Ultimately,
what view ripoff is she on? Is she on the one where like everyone's fat? I think she's on the one with like the fat woman on CNN that pretends to be a Republican, just shouts. Every time I see her, I just feel like throwing like a drumstick at her just to see like if she'll go through it. But then remember she's on television, so I'm just gonna be throwing a drumstick at TV.
I wanna specify that this show does not support bullying in any way.
I'm sorry. Yes, now, I'm sure that woman who is incredibly overweight is very healthy. She's going to live a very long, prosperous life.
So, always great to have you on the show. Oh gosh, there's going to be so many hate dislikes. Okay, so going back to the subject matter of the report.
Yeah.
The Mueller report did not conclude that the president committed a crime. He specified to say that it did not exonerate him. I feel like that's him covering his tracks there. He didn't find anything. He doesn't want to admit he didn't find anything. So he just left it open for interpretation. Probably because he's a political hack. I mean, this is the same guy that concurred that the Iraqi government in 2003 had... WMDs, and he testified to a Senate hearing committee. Check out the video. I'll link it in the description. He can't even look at the guy in the eyes when he talks. He looks down. So Robert Mueller's not
He's
exactly.
got to read that script that was given to him.
Yeah, Robert Mueller's not exactly a pure actor in all of this. I do think there were some political motivations. I don't think he likes Trump. I don't think anybody really in power really likes Trump too much. I mean, they've all been trying to backstab him some way or another. McCain, when he was alive. His own. What was that? Didn't a report come out? Somebody wrote some anonymous article and submitted it to a media company saying that deep inside his own cabinet, they were all resisting him.
Oh, when it comes to the whole anonymous reportings, I wouldn't be surprised if they were written by Trump himself. He just calls, CNN from the White House saying, "Hey, look, I have an anonymous report that says that Donald Trump's cabinet, they all don't like him and they call him names." And then, like 20 minutes later, it's on Don Lemon. The President of the United States' cabinet doesn't like him. He has bad names. Here's my diverse staff. We have the black woman, we have the angry black woman, and we have the Hispanic male and the white guy. Greetings. So the president.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't be surprised.
For starters, let's just admit that the president doesn't exactly have a voice that is that is difficult to discern.
Oh,
it's pretty obvious.
You think they care?
It's pretty obvious. You could tell it's Trump when he
if
calls. I think people could make out. Yeah, that sounds like Trump.
Yeah, who do you think is answering the phone? You think Don Lemon's answering the phone, or Ensign Cooper? They're answering the phone, and it's like, what? A story? This must be told. Dun 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 dun. I mean, they keep coming out with like all these reports, and then they keep immediately being refuted by both sides, but they double down on it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
let's
not forget. Yeah, actually, one of the most prominent reporters that covered the Russia collusion case that was non-existent, apparently. Rachel Maddow from MSNBC, she actually lost viewers and ratings recently after the report got turned in, and it was found that he wasn't going to be committed for a crime or indicted or anything. So I think people are waking up to the fact that the mainstream media has gotten it wrong consistently, over and over again. They got WMDs in Iraq wrong in 2003. They got this wrong.
Yeah, but they won't let you know that.
They don't bring it up.
They'll jump in like, oh yeah, WMDs. War's unpopular. Why did we invade Iraq?
How could the government be so wrong? We were just covering the news.
What else do you think they want to censor the internet?
Yeah, that's. Actually, I covered censorship last year. It's really becoming a problem.
Speaking of the internet, I do have to give credit where credit is due. Kyle Kalinske and what's his name?
Jimmy
Dore were probably the only people on the left that didn't buy into it, so I will say good job on them.
Yeah, and considering that they're affiliated with the Young Turks in some sense, not directly. But
come on. Kyle Kalinske basically agrees with everything with Cenk Uygur, except the Russia probe.
Yeah, you're right. Those are some of the few people. Independent media, more times than not, they got it right.
Except for the Young Turks. The Young Turks are trying to rewrite history.
They're trying to become mainstream, so I don't think they're really.
No, they're trying to rewrite history by saying Cenk is like, oh, no, I meant after the election. You see, this 1 week ago I said this video.
That doesn't. You see, here's the problem with that claim. Actually, none of Trump's actions actually indicate any form of quid pro quo agreement with the Russian government. I mean, if you look at his history in the presidency, he's been considerably anti-Russia in his policy. You got in 2017 when he ordered airstrikes on Syria in April in response to some chemical attack or something. Whether or not that was a false flag is still debatable.
You hear that, YouTube? No conspiracy theory here.
No.
What's her name?
Wow. So Assad's a pretty blatant Putin ally. It's been made clear time and time again, Assad's an ally. Trump ordering airstrikes by the U.S. military on Syria and Syrian forces, it doesn't help Putin at all. I mean, in 2017, also in December, he provided the Ukrainian military with weapons for enhanced defensive capabilities during a time when they were fighting Russian-backed rebels, and the fighting was intensifying. Yeah, I know I don't cover it as much as I used to in season, because I did cover it in season 1. I haven't covered it as much in the follow-up seasons. But the Ukraine civil war is still kind of going on. It just doesn't get a lot of attention these days because you got other stuff happening. But yeah, Trump isn't helping Putin in that regard either. And
well, Congress isn't helping either.
Some of it could be argued that he's being strong-armed by Congress in that regard. Yeah, but Trump's also working to make sure that they don't get a natural gas line through Russia, from Russia and, for the EU. He's trying to break that deal apart because he wants to provide it for the EU instead, I think, for the US. So Trump's kind of doing it for moneyed interests.
Oh, you mean the guy who ran on the America First campaign is actually going with an America First campaign?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the collusion narrative, even after he's elected president, doesn't work either. I mean, he basically withdrew from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty.
Well, when you really...
Recently. This was about a month and a half ago.
Well, when you really think about it, the whole collusion story doesn't make any sense either. Like, the whole, there was like a Facebook ad where someone spent like a couple $1,000s.
Oh yeah, that was
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Mueller indicted troll farms, Russian troll farms. Come on.
Like, for starters, how no one knows what a battleground state is going to be until it's pretty close to the election. So the amount of, for starters, a couple $1,000s when it comes to an election means absolutely nothing. Just ask Hillary Clinton. So to what is it? Everybody thought Iowa was going to be blue. Everyone thought Iowa was going to be.
They only thought that. You got to remember, most, at least in terms of how American elections seem to go, they think battleground states are based off of what state has not been consistently blue or red. So a state like North Dakota, which has been red over and over and over again for a really long time. They just you don't expect the Democrats to win there, not on the presidential level. And a state like New York, for instance, hasn't gone red in so long that you don't expect it to turn. Iowa went blue in 2012, I believe, 2012. And that's why it was considered a battleground, because it had shifted in some degree since the previous election cycle. But a lot can happen in 4 years. Still, going back to the case, it doesn't make sense that Russian collusion played a factor in the election. Honestly, even if it did, for instance, even if the Russians did hack the DNC and get the emails on the Democrats, all we found out was stuff that they were actually doing. Like, at no point did anybody from the DNC or any of the email people say, that's completely fake. Like, no, we did say that. And it was just atrocious what they were saying. They pretty much admitted to rigging the primary.
Well, they are a private company.
Yeah, running for public office.
They're a private company.
Either way. So the Mueller report ended. That's one prediction for me and for you as well. It wasn't on your official prediction list afterwards, but you did bring it up a couple episodes prior.
I've been saying it for a while.
You've been saying
He's just been.
Mueller's
been dragging his feet for so long, trying to find something.
2 years. 2 years.
Yep.
Almost that this report was being worked on.
And he thought
was Comey working on it before him? Actually?
No, Comey. I think Comey got fired before.
He got fired before the report
actually,
was
funny enough, like Comey was actually tweeting pictures of like a cliff and then a forest, and people like when it came out, and people were like saying, "Don't do it, Comey." But he was like doing it to like just be ominous, like, "Oh, there are sort of questions out there," but Mueller report came out and nothing happened. James Comey is tweeting a picture of a cliff.
Yeah, there are definitely some people who are really hoping for an impeachment or indictment. Yeah, that not the way to go. If you want to get someone out of power, you vote them out. So that brings us to our next topic. But that does it for this segment. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so next segment, and it's regarding some people that we think should give it a rest, or rather, some of us think. Anyways, so we were hinting at it in the last segment near the end there, but we're going to discuss the current Democratic primary contenders for U.S. president in 2020. Right now, a lot of people have announced, to be honest, and they really need to consider not having so many candidates running at this point. But basically, let's talk about the ones that stand no chance, really. Let's start with, who should we start with? Go ahead.
I just want to go in order.
You want to go in order? What order?
Numerical?
Numerical?
So
currently expected to be the top versus bottom. Is that what you're thinking?
Sure. Let's start off with a man who is rumored to be running but may not run, Joe Biden.
Forget Joe Biden. Why on earth would we? Why do you got to start with the one that hasn't announced? But okay,
well,
all right.
He may not announce because recently allegations have come. 2014, I believe, there's a staffer named Lacey Fields who said that Joe Biden inappropriately sort of like touched and kissed her, like cheek-wise. Now, this isn't new. People know that Joe Biden is kind of creepy, but we never had any allegations.
Really? Okay. I actually didn't know that. Lacey Fields?
Something Field. I think it is Lacey Fields. I could be wrong, but she recently came out with it. Now, considering that Joe Biden is a old white guy, this is probably going to hurt his campaign, kind of the same way it hurt what's his name?
Edwards?
No. From the senator from was it Minnesota? Who got like taken down?
Senator from Minnesota. Oh, Al Franken.
There we go, Al Franken.
Yeah, he had me going there for a second.
Yeah, Al Franken may
he may be repeated in Joe Biden.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think Biden stood much of a chance to begin with. A lot of polls showed him neck to neck with another candidate.
Yes, and some showed him as ahead.
As ahead, yes. But again, how much of that was really nostalgia because of his VP run with
you could say the same
Obama.
about the other guy.
The other guy.
Who, for some reason, is being nameless.
All right, so obviously...
Who's that candidate?
Obviously, the candidate I was referring to, who almost all polls show as being neck to neck with Biden, who for some reason still shows up in the polls even though he hasn't announced by this point, is Bernie Sanders, current senator from Vermont. He's a former 2016 presidential primary candidate. And arguably, I know there were at least several people, both on the left and some people who have confessed to me on the right, that think he probably would have won the primary against Clinton had there not been shenanigans.
Well, those people are wrong.
Those people are wrong.
Yes.
Oh, he says. Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying either theory.
Well, we can. We can look at how many states were won by individuals. We can look at the popular vote. Well, not necessarily the popular vote, but Hillary won more states. And quite frankly, the DNC is a private company, and they weren't going to let an independent win.
It has nothing to do with what the DNC feels, though. Ultimately, a general election is won not only by Democrats, but by winning independents and maybe even gaining support from supporters or voters that lie on the other side of the political spectrum. And unfortunately, Clinton didn't have the crossover appeal. She didn't win it with the independents, I think.
Well, that's
I think Sanders was more stronger a candidate in winning over the independents.
No, trust
me.
me.
Maybe not the crossover appeal for getting maybe people on the Republican side as much. Although he was more popular in states that tend to lean Republican. West Virginia being one of them.
Again, when it comes down to either vote for Hillary Clinton or something else, How many people are going to pick something else?
Well, how many people voted for William Chafee?
I don't know.
Exactly, not that many, and he was the something else. So if you're really gonna say something else, it doesn't really apply to everyone else aside from Sanders.
I'm talking about in actual, what is it?
Look, that was 2016. We already discussed the story where people from couldn't let go of what happened in 2016. Let's not rehash the past.
Donald Trump won the presidency.
Let's not rehash the past on this one. Yes, it is true. Clinton did beat Sanders in 2016, and then Clinton lost to Trump in 2016. However, it can be debatable as to whether or not Clinton beat Sanders fairly.
Well, A beat
there are no
C.
super delegates this time around.
All right, so A beat C, and C was beaten or got defeated by B, but B can totally defeat A. I just want to.
I don't think the pairing there was exactly.
I just want to throw out. Bernie Sanders cannot handle Donald Trump in a debate.
We don't know that.
Really?
But right now, regardless of what you want to say,
let's just clarify. One of the highlights of last year's debate was Donald Trump coming up with the line of the year because you'd be in jail.
Oh my!
I'm just going to throw that out there.
You mean last election cycle's debate? Yes.
Whatever.
Okay. I want to be clear. Let's clarify here. The reason he's so upset that Bernie Sanders is currently in the front running is because he had predicted.
I'm not upset.
You had predicted in the lead up to 2019's New Year that Sanders would not run.
Well,
you were wrong.
I will admit I was wrong because I thought Bernie was a sane and rational human being. But then I remembered he's a socialist, so there's nothing is off the table with this crazy old man.
Okay. Either way, the man is currently front running in most of the polls that don't include Biden because they shouldn't.
That is not good news for the Democrats.
Either way, that's the current front runner. It might change. However, I do believe we might see the match that didn't happen from 2020.
Oh, I want to see that. I want to see that debate.
But unfortunately, Sanders has a lot of competition going for him. So let's look at recent actually side out of left field. Out of left field, it's pretty recent and relatively speaking. Out of left field candidate Beto O'Rourke. Also
known as Robert O'Rourke.
Robert O'Rourke. I really don't like this guy, to be honest. I saw his launch campaign video. He's just a rambling mess. He has no policy substance behind him.
Well,
and honestly, the fact that he beat Bernie Sanders' contribution record 24 hours in was kind of upsetting. I think he's getting some backing from more wealthier people that we don't know about. However, those people are betting on a dork. That's right. Bet on a dork 2020. That's who Beto is in my eyes. But basically, honestly, I think we could both agree it's kind of sad that the guy that couldn't beat Ted Cruz for his seat in the Senate in Texas thinks he can beat Donald Trump in a presidential race.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy that a guy who can't beat another guy can beat Donald Trump somehow.
This guy really, all right.
I just wanted to note, I do want Bernie Sanders to win the Democratic nominee.
Okay. All right.
But
you don't think he can? You don't think he can?
No, I think he can. I just thought that Joe Biden would probably just take it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Joe Biden turns it around. Maybe Creepy Joe makes a comeback here. But yeah, Beto O'Rourke. How's the polling looking for him?
The polling is actually kind of looking somewhat strong. I mean, granted,
he's still newer, so it takes a while for him to gain momentum.
The lowest I've seen him so far is 5th, and the highest is 3rd. Now, granted, that's about 9%. So take that as you want. The worst is 1%.
The worst is under 1%, actually.
Okay, well, I'm talking about, actual polling for later candidates. But he's playing it smart because, as we'll go on for later on, everybody else is a far leftist. Like, they're basically going to be competing each other for the title of I am the farther left of everyone here. While Beto has sort of moved over to the right, or He's moved more to the center.
He's from Texas, so
Yes.
you gotta. He did run on some Republican policies when he.
Well, he's talking about he wants to tear down the existing border fences there.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say he's fully Republican. Obviously, he's running a Democratic primary.
And
but,
he also did pull Hillary Clinton when they asked him about guns. Since he is from Texas, he said kind of like a nothing, where it's like, well, I don't really think we should have weapons of war, but we shouldn't take them away either, or something along those lines. Kind of the neutral sort of thing that sounds really picky and all that, but the guy is not really viable because he's kind of kooky. He's talking about he's eating like magic, or he's eating like some magic herbal grass or something like that. Like him on a skateboard is really cringy, and he
had his line, and I kid you not, was, "I was born to do this." The guy's an egomaniac. I'm gonna say that right.
There's
now.
also a picture of like him on a magazine with his dog in the corner.
His
the
dog
looks so ashamed.
His dog looks real. His dog doesn't want him to be president.
I think.
Let that sink in. Your own dog doesn't want you to win.
And he sort of insulted his wife. I don't really see it as an insult, but he said he sometimes helps his wife raising his 2 kids or whatever kids he has.
Yeah, he's an egomaniac, dude. Let's not.
What? Someone running for president is an egomaniac? No. No way.
All right. That's enough fun. That's enough fun. Bet on a dork here. Let's go on to the next one. This person's actually they had the record before Sanders jumped in. Kamala Harris.
Wow, all these young-ish people keep setting records, except for Bernie.
No, Bernie set the record by breaking Kamala Harris's 24-hour.
Was her record like 9 million?
No, it was 1.3. 1.3 million within the first 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Whatever.
Don't quote me on that, but it was 1 point something. Don't quote.
Yeah. So for
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris,
a current senator of California.
Yes. So here's the interesting thing about Kamala Harris. Everyone's sort of election sign is kind of just generic, like their last name 2020. Not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris's sign is Kamala Harris for the people.
That's too much.
It kind of just looks like it's there to just attack you. Kind of like her is like Kamala Harris for the people.
Her name's in blue, and for the people's written in red. That's interesting. So, and it's in a white background. I get it, red, white, and blue.
Well, it's just neutral. But yeah. So here's the interesting thing about Miss Kamala Harris here. She's essentially, her entire campaign is pressing on her being a triple minority, which is, again, here's the irony of it. It's the only reason she's placing, near the top, but it's also the reason why she's never going to be the elected candidate. Because contrary to what these the people on the left say,
identity politics doesn't. Identity politics.
Well, they're also not that progressive.
It will not win an election.
Being a woman, that's interesting.
Don't get me wrong. It'd be pretty cool to see how the first female president would be.
Not you two.
I'm just saying that shouldn't be a disqualifier. However,
it
shouldn't be the sole qualifier. It's like, well, we need a lady to run.
Well, it's not only that. Because as remember, another candidate recently ran off of that as her campaign.
Yeah.
But she's also half black. Like another former Democrat candidate. But, and one more thing. She's a triple minority. She's also half Indian. And not, the other, not, Indian like another candidate. but actual, she's half Asian, actual Indian, Apu from The Simpsons.
Definitely getting too much into the identity politics. Harris.
That's her entire campaign.
Yeah, and it's getting her to second place, maybe third. But let's look at somebody else who's also kind of running on identity politics here. Cory Booker.
All right, here's the thing about Cory Booker. I've not heard anyone say this.
He's the black guy?
No. Here's the thing.
Funny enough, he's not the only black guy anymore in the race.
Here's the thing. Well, Cory's light black. The other guy's dark black. But here's the thing. So last year, there were allegations for Cory Booker being Me Too'd. But the thing is, it was a male person accusing him.
Oh, gosh.
So recently, I've seen articles that the actress Rosario Dawson is dating Cory Booker, and I saw a news headline that said Katie Couric went on a blind date, but they didn't kiss. So I'm wondering, and then another person said, oh, they would totally date Cory Booker. So I'm wondering, why is all these stories coming about Cory Booker being a ladies' man? But he's dating women. And again, the allegations
wait, is
of
Cory Booker single?
No, he's dating. This is in quotations.
No, but he's not married.
No, he's not married.
He's not. But that's actually breaking a fairly consistent trend among presidents. It's very common for the president to actually be married.
Well, the thing is that, again, the allegations were not proven. I do not believe Cory Booker denied them. I don't believe he denied them, though. He didn't really, because when the whole Me Too thing was happening, the people either came out and said they were, this is all wrong, fabricated and wrong, or they came out and said yes. Cory Booker
then apologized and got crucified anyways.
Cory Booker didn't. I don't remember him coming out and saying no, this is not true. But I also don't. I think he sort of came out and he sort of like sidestepped around it. But again, I'm just wondering, why is all this stuff about Cory Booker having the not gays being out there? I'm just wondering. Again, I'm not saying, Cory Booker's gay, he should be disqualified for that. But I mean, again, just like Kamala Harris is triple minority,
are you really
having a black gay president, that is probably going to hurt him if it's true. Again, I'm not saying he's gay. I'm just wondering what happened to the allegations that he was with a male staffer, and why is everyone kind of saying all these stories about how he's dating all these women? Just wondering.
I'm just going to say, it ain't going to help you with the winning over or crossover conservatives there. Definitely not. But it's okay. That's an interesting.
I'm surprised she's not running on the whole Spartacus thing.
Okay. All right. No. Okay. So you have Cory Booker. We covered him. You got Kirsten Gillibrand, a senator from New York. She's running for.
All right. So here's
office.
the thing about Kirsten Gillibrand. You need to understand, for those of you who don't know about her. Imagine Hillary Clinton without the Clinton name and without half of the charisma.
I will say this: Kirsten Gillibrand looks all right. I'd date her.
All right.
Would never. If I was an American, I would vote for her.
You're one of those people that was like, you know what? I'm going to vote for Sarah Palin because we deserve a hot VP. That's what you sound like.
I'm not saying that's a qualifier to be president. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
that's one of the things that American people should look at and be like, you know what? Do I want to bang the president?
Okay, so commentary on her looks aside.
Just throwing it out there. If we do hear about Gerlord becoming an intern for the Gabbard campaign, or not the Gabbard campaign, the Gillibrand campaign, just remember this.
Just remember this.
But anyways, yeah, she's from New York. She has like the same establishment background. Now the problem with her is she has another Me Too backlash. Not like she was part of anyone's accusing her, but one of her people that she endorsed was the former Attorney General of New York that was viciously beating his girlfriends. She came out in very strong support of him. So with the with a lot of the candidates kind of jumping all over just to get that progressive vote, that's going to hurt her.
Yeah, she's been underperforming on the polls.
Well, she is boring.
As of late. So, yeah.
If you ever need to fall asleep, just listen to her speeches.
Okay. All right, so that's Gillibrand. Let's look at... we're kind of getting into the... Oh, no, we're not. Not yet. Another one that's doing fairly decently in the polling and not under 1% is Elizabeth Warren.
Senator the Cherokee.
Yeah, everybody remembers.
By the way, all right, so this is her campaign thing. It just says Warren. That's it. It's just black, and then it says Warren, and then there's a line like halfway through it. Not Warren 2020, not Warren for president. It just says Warren.
So Elizabeth Warren,
is this, a horror movie?
Elizabeth Warren is one of the other candidates that polls among top 6, top 5. Which
She's desperate for attention. I was watching like clips of a debate with her when like during these like White House thing or the CNN's like town hall events.
town halls, yeah.
And they messed her up badly because she's on. All right, so when I was watching, it was like this whole her talking about the getting rid of the electoral college in Mississippi, which is pretty dumb. But she's on a stage. It's a very big stage. There are 3 chairs there, but only her. She's on the stage. The moderators, like right before the crowd, and she's just there on the stage, and she's trying to give this impassioned speech, but her hand motions are crazy. Like she's like going everywhere, trying to like evoke emotion by like just like doing like judo chops and like
Judo chops.
I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of like dance remixes like of her doing like these hand motions there, but it's so embarrassing because she has like this she's really like skinny or lightweight, and she's just up there trying so hard to get attention, saying whatever crazy stuff she can to get people to listen to her. And it's not going to work because, again, if she somehow gets the nominee, she will cost so many Native American votes for the Democrats. Like New Mexico and Nevada are probably going to be in play because of her.
Okay.
If you don't know what we're talking about, she faked her way through college by pretending to be a Native American in order to gain a scholarship.
She claimed ancestry. Yes.
Yeah, she claimed ancestry. And even more stupid was she wrote a cookbook recipe for seafood. Now, I believe the Cherokee are a landlocked tribe. So how do they have seafood recipes? Again, just throwing that out there.
All right. Okay.
I believe they're I could be incorrect, but I believe they're a landlocked tribe.
Okay, there are rivers in the United States, sir. However,
okay.
We'll move on. We'll move on from that.
Oh, and she also took a DNA test that showed like she was like 1 in like 1,000-something% Cherokee.
It was definitely under 1%.
Yeah.
That she showed. So yeah, that didn't help. Last candidate that really kind of has any showing of potential here before we get into the definitely don't stand a chance category. Elizabeth, it's not Elizabeth Warren.
We forgot about her already.
Tulsi Gabbard, the representative of Hawaii's 2nd District. I actually really do like her. She's
oh, I bet you do.
She is a good looker. I will say that she looks really good.
She's too young.
That is not why I would say I find her appealing as a presidential candidate.
She does have a very creative logo though. It just says her name, but her name is like a sun, like a sunset background, which is a metaphor for her campaign.
So, she's carving out an interesting position as a candidate. She's definitely the anti-war candidate. She's railed on about regime change wars. She said we need to get out of Iraq, Syria. She recently actually came out and said that the findings of the Mueller investigation that show our president was not, or at least in her words, our president was not found to be committing treason was a good finding. So she's definitely not one of those betting on the wrong horse kind of candidates. She definitely doesn't. She's not going to stay in support of unpopular positions. Granted, it's still found like roughly half of Americans still believe some kind of collusion and meddling happened in the Russian election, even after the Mueller report findings happened. I think those polls might be skewed, but Gabbard wasn't one of those impeachment people in Congress. She hasn't really called for impeachment regarding Russian collusion. She hasn't been caught up in the hysteria, and she's got a pretty leveled head in terms of her positions with foreign policy. Domestic policy, she's also shown that she knows how to support certain candidates. She supported Sanders during 2016, so she's definitely got some form of moral high ground, I think.
Oh
Not
boy,
supporting,
here it
not
comes.
supporting, not
Here
supporting
it
someone
comes.
who rigs a primary. Let's just point that out. However, she's not getting a lot of traction. She's definitely getting the media blackout treatment. They're not covering her as much.
So here's the problem with Tulsi Gabbard.
Here we go.
She's too young. She's 37 years old.
Okay.
She's, I believe, she's Hindu, so that's a strike against her. Well, not really a strike. If she was just a female and Hindu, but also a minority as well. So there's 3 things that are going against her. Now, again, just like with Kamala Harris, the Democrats are not as progressive as they want you to think. So her being too young, her being, Hindu, and then her being, I forget, is she Indian as well?
I'm not sure.
Well, either way, her being Asian.
I think she's actually half white.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right, well, her being half Asian. Her being...
Just completely throw that. That just doesn't help you.
Wow, what's up with all these female candidates and having some sort of relation with Asia?
Okay.
But anyways, so one thing I've noticed is that a lot of libertarians or sort of libertarian-ish people have sort of been talking about her, and that's mostly because
it's the independents that help you win a general.
Well, it's not really helping her now, is it?
It doesn't help you in the primary.
Now let me get to that. I believe that she may be propped up to steal votes away from Trump. That's kind of the way that it is looking, because a lot of sort of libertarians are kind of going goo-goo over her because, we found a politician that doesn't want to bomb Syria. I'm like, okay, Ron Paul still exists, right? But
Ron Paul is not running for president.
I'm sorry,
anymore.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul is not running for president either.
A hint for would-be fathers out there: don't name your kids similar to your name. All right, Lamar Ball or LeVere.
Okay.
Ball family.
All right.
But
what's your point?
I do think that she is being propped up to sort of be this independent stealing thing for Donald Trump against the Trump voters. I don't think it's going to work, because once she kind of opens her mouth about, I'm anti-war, I'm like, aren't you running for the Democratic nominee? The same people that want to bomb Syria? And then she starts talking about all her other things like, minimum wage 15. She's also from the same
Medicare
island.
for all.
She's also from the same island as Barack Obama. Then she's going to start losing that independence feel, because people are going to be like, wait a minute, she sounds like Barack Obama.
Either way, I do think she's got some promise in the primaries.
Yeah,
but that's about it. That's
someone's
about
got to
it.
place 5th.
We someone's about to place 5th. So those were arguably the top. We did Sanders, O'Rourke, Gillibrand, Booker, Harris, Warren, and Gabbard. That's 7. We talked about 7 candidates, and those are the top potential
and there are
ones.
10 more.
And Biden was one of the people we talked about also.
And
He hasn't even announced.
There
So
are
that's
216 people that filed.
8 candidates. 200. We're not covering all of those. But
Well,
we're now entering.
I want more candidates, Democrats. More.
We're now entering. And I know this segment has actually dragged on quite a bit. This is how bad it is.
We didn't even talk about that idiot Andrew Yang.
Hold on, we're going to talk about him right now. We're entering the what I call the don't stand a chance territory here. So let's start it off with the lady who throws staplers and yells at her own staff members, Amy Klobuchar.
By the way, her
governor of Minnesota.
Her campaign sort of sticker is just Amy. I want someone else named Amy to run the race just to screw her over.
So Amy Klobuchar.
She's screwed. No one can pronounce her name.
I really don't like her that bad that I actually did come up with a nickname for her. Amy Clown in a Jar. She's definitely got no chance of winning. I don't know how she's still staying in the race.
I'm sorry, it's Amy for America. That's her picture.
Why does she, I don't know why she's in the race. I don't know why why anybody thinks she stands a chance. She doesn't stand a chance. She did the town hall where they asked her about her thoughts on free college, and she was just like, no. And that guy looked as dispirited as ever. And basically, that's just a sign of what's going to happen when your voter base doesn't have anything to vote for.
Also, she thought it was a great idea to announce her candidacy in the middle of snow.
In the middle of yeah,
Just in winter outdoors.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart move.
Can we say William Henry Harrison? I am not advocating that this president will die. I'm just saying.
Not the brightest move. Yes, we get it. But fortunately, I don't think she stands any chance of winning. She's pretty much a joke, if we're being honest here. Which brings me down to John Hickenlooper, former governor of Colorado. This is the same governor of Colorado. Now, a lot of people who are pro marijuana legalization would remember that Colorado was one of the early adopters of legalizing marijuana recreationally. And John Hickenlooper, as governor of that state, was against this. Despite the fact that has really turned around the economy of Colorado greatly.
And the crime rate.
And the crime rate, yes, that is true.
No, not down. Up.
Down?
No, up.
It went up? Okay. Well, that's just a mixed bag now, isn't it?
I know, right?
Still, Hickenlooper...
Remember how that crime rate went down when they made drinking alcohol legal again? You know, all those gangsters just said, well, prohibition's gone. Might as well just go back to my straight, legitimate business.
Hickenlooper doesn't stand a chance. I don't even know what he's polling.
And just to save time, neither does John Delaney.
John Delaney, former representative of Maryland's 6th District. Yeah, pretty much same thing. Nobody knows who he is. Doesn't really make any sense to run when in such a crowded field. Same can kind of be said about Jay Inslee, governor of Washington State. Just basically another white guy at this point.
Now the last.
Oh, actually, while on the topic of
minorities,
the candidates who pretty much just another white guy, to be honest. Even though I kind of did like his the cut of his jib, if you will. Richard Ojeda, he did drop out, but he was one of the first people to announce before the field got crowded. He was a West Virginia state senator in the 7th District. And basically, he suspended his campaign once he realized he wasn't getting any traction. But he kind of felt like a progressive type candidate, similar in the Bernie Sanders style of running. Definitely ran on policies.
Another far leftist.
Ran on the policies. Not honestly. He did describe himself as pro-life, though he did clarify that it wasn't in the sense that most people know it as. But yeah, he had the sense to realize, you know, the way the winds were blowing, and he backed out. I think a lot of other candidates definitely have to develop that sense when they're running. Candidates like Marianne Williamson. She's.
If you don't know who she is, congratulations, you're not the only one.
You're not the only one.
I've not seen her poll at all.
She's not even tracking in the polls. She's a former independent candidate for California's 23rd district.
Another loser.
She did not win. She ran in 2014. That's how long it's been. And she's currently a spiritual teacher, activist. And she holds no public office.
And watch out, Bernie, because she's also a Jew.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Somehow I don't think she's anyone to be concerned about. Though I will say for 66 or someone in her 60s.
Oh my God,
she's kind of cute. She's kind of cute. But yeah, back out. You ain't winning it. That's just a given. speaking of other people who don't really stand a chance, not Jay Inslee. We covered him already.
Julian Castro is another guy who I think he has the potential to be the dark horse because he's actually good at speaking and he's young and he's Hispanic and that's it.
No.
As in he's not he's not half Hispanic, half Chinese, or he's not a Muslim. He's a Hispanic from Texas.
So Julian Castro is the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under the Obama
And now
administration.
that Biden's probably finished, he could probably get that Obama endorsement that everybody's going to be killing themselves for.
Essentially, he's not really tracking well in the polls.
Yeah,
he's definitely at 1%. He's like at 1%, I think.
Yeah, he jumped into the far left cannibalism by attacking Bernie Sanders by not being for reparations because he's so far down he has to punch up. But then some idiot jumped into the race. Oh, I'm sorry, Beto O'Rourke jumped into the race, and that basically just killed his chances of
getting the Texas vote if he does make it that far.
Yeah.
Julian Castro, very unfortunate last name, by the way. Definitely not going to help you if you do run for the general in Florida, which tends to be a swing state.
South Florida.
Julian Castro needs to kind of get his senses sharpened in terms of seeing where the winds are blowing. He's not going to make it far, and.
The last two.
The last
is Andrew Yang, who a lot of wow, this was going on. So I'm
he's
gonna
actually
speed this up.
So Andrew Yang's in favor of universal basic income.
Yeah, all of these idiots online are trying to spread memes of him, but it's so cringeworthy. It's not going to work. And
I do think he's polling a little better, to be honest. He's polling a little better.
Really? He's polling at 1%.
He's polling, I think, at 2 or 3.
Oh. Look out, world!
A little better than the other ones we've named, that's for sure. But yeah, he's a lot of. I don't think he stands a chance in the long term.
A lot of the black pill people are for him because if you don't know what black pill is essentially they've given up. It's they've listened to nothing but 9 Inch Nail albums for 10 years. And they just want the country to crash because they don't really see a point in going forward with it because Trump hasn't built the wall yet, and therefore it is Trump's fault. Thus, they believe they must vote Democrat.
Okay.
And the last guy is going to be Wayne Maciam, who filed recently. He is the current mayor of Miramar. Now, in
case you don't know, Miramar is located in Florida. Let's not forget.
Yes, it's located in Florida, in the same area where every single time there's an election in Florida, that's where the recounts are. He's essentially if you look at a picture of Florida, former Florida Governor Rick Scott, or current Senator Rick Scott, if you painted him black, he looks just like Wayne Maciam. He's got the same sort of like crazy bat ears. He's black. He's like bald and he's very dark. I believe as the only. Well, he and Cory Booker are going to fight for that black male card, but
Cory Booker's definitely got more name recognition. Definitely closer
and a sway with the ladies.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
Wayne. Sorry, you jumped in. You jumped in way too late.
It was actually
a way too crowded field.
It was actually believed that another Florida loser was going to jump in, or another Florida loser, Andrew Gillum, who had a special announcement, but he gave everyone blue balls by saying his announcement is he's going to raise money so he could help people in Florida vote or register to vote Democrat. Now, my question is.
Did you really need a special announcement for that?
That and how many people in Florida aren't eligible to vote?
They did recently make it so that inmates could vote.
Yeah, but my thing is that
not inmates. Sorry.
former
convicted felons
who have committed misdemeanors.
Yeah,
what's the polling source that's left?
Jeez.
Like what is the remaining pool of people who cannot vote or are not registered to vote that's left for there to be gathered to that you need millions of dollars? Now, if they're trying to steal candidates or steal people
steal votes,
and if they're trying to steal former Republicans or independents to become Democrat, what exactly are they? What's the new strategy going to be? It's like, hey, do you not like Trump? Yeah, I don't like Trump. Then register as Democrat. I'm like, don't they already know that already?
Yeah, a lot of people who said they were going to consider running. You also had the lady who ran for governor of Georgia. Actually, she was actually talking to Biden.
Yeah, there was some sort of questionable thing about how Biden was going to jump in and he was already going to have a running mate. Which, considering how Biden is a white male, there was rumors that it was going to be someone like Kamala Harris.
I am blanking out on her name actually.
Oh, Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams. Thank you.
The woman who, when questioned by Don Lemon, could not say that the election was won fairly. Which is funny because Don Lemon admitted that she lost fair and square and wanted to get her to admit it. So when Don Lemon's saying you're wrong and you're black, that's hurtful.
Yeah, so Stacey Abrams might have also been considering making a run for it, but she ended up not doing that. Honestly, there are a lot of candidates who I think
it's going to be fun watching them destroy each other.
They definitely should give it a rest. Honestly, I think it helps Bernie in the end.
More. Get more. Obama, run. You can't be eligible to run, but just do it anyway.
Clinton could even jump back in at this point.
She said she's not going to, but I want just do it.
Yeah, because she's never lied before.
Oh, trust me, she's going to get killed by all the other women.
Oh man. Anyways, yeah, Democrats who are polling at under 1%. Oh, and this also goes to independents. I'm looking at you, Howard Schultz, Mr. I ran Starbucks and now I can run a country. Yeah, you're not going to win. If you're polling at under 1% at this point.
Well, if you're not Donald Trump, you're not going to win the election.
So yeah, Democrats, especially the ones that are just jumping in for jumping in's sake, give it a rest. Okay, so we're actually past the hour mark here. If you're still tuned in, I really appreciate your listenership. You guys are awesome. But let's look at the last segment. Let's try to keep this one shorter. Let's talk internet. So, in case you guys don't know, and because it's not everybody cares about this around the world, but it's April Fool's, April 1st. I didn't really plan that out necessarily. I kind of decided to go with it because it was kind of cool. I did say I would return in April. I didn't know the Mueller report was going to drop before this. I didn't think the Democrats would have that many candidates. It's all been really entertaining to watch. But one of the more strange things, because there are a lot of people doing stupid things, whether it's people who were reporting on the Mueller case for 2 years or people who are running for president who stand no chance. But really stupid things that we've seen over the years. Recently was the Jussie Smollet fake hate crime that he perpetrated.
Well, I wouldn't say unusual. Fake hate crimes against Donald Trump or Trump supporters have actually been very common.
But it was the what made it really stupid. I didn't say it was unusual. What made it really unusually stupid, was how poorly his story was formulated.
So
you want to go through it? Let's go through it.
If you haven't particularly followed it, which congratulations, I envy you. Jussie Smollett was attacked at 2 a.m. after walking back from a subway.
Keep in mind, when he told the police, he said, I was hungry and I decided to go to Subway. And I think he even said, I went to go get a salad.
No, I think he got a sub. That's for sure. But he was attacked.
Was it a sub? Oh,
he was attacked allegedly, it's not really allegedly anymore since Trump. He was attacked by two men who were later revealed to be hired by him, but they were supposedly wearing. They were wearing Donald Trump hats, and they yelled out, "This is MAGA country." Now again.
Oh, you're forgetting the most ridiculous.
Jussie Smollett lives in Chicago.
The most
Chicago
ridiculous.
is the home of Barack Obama. And Barack Obama brought Chicago-style politics to D.C. Now, Chicago is left. It is incredibly left.
That's not the.
No, so
now let's
again,
disregard that for a second. This is the part of the story that really.
Now, when he was walking down, the two men had a noose and bleach.
A noose,
and it was the middle of a snowstorm.
A noose and bleach.
So again, this very left-leaning district, our city, just happened to have men who were wearing a Donald Trump hat, walking around with bleach and a noose.
A noose at 2 a.m. in the morning.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, and they just so happened to recognize a gay actor, a black gay actor, from a television show, walking on the street at that time. They spotted him and immediately charged at him.
Well, I think they had like some kind of verbal exchange, supposedly according to what he said.
Yeah, they had like, this is MAGA. Oh, you're that gay actor or something like that. This is MAGA country. And then, he was somewhat able to fight them off or whatever. So when he called the police, he still had the noose around his neck.
He still had the noose around his neck, yeah.
But anyway, so what was recently discovered is that he made the entire thing up. Like, there was footage on gas stations of the men buying the hat and the noose and the hardware equipment right before the attack. The two men were actually extras and personal trainers of the actor, and there was a check there for $35,000, which was claimed to be trained. Now, of course, because the charges were dropped and the evidence was sealed, which is incredibly very strange. This is a rarity to happen in American law, where the evidence is completely sealed in a case where all of the charges were dropped. And not only that, but when the charges were revealed to be dropped, there were actually text messages that were leaked between the actor's family and the district attorney's office. And the district attorney is actually a friend or a former colleague or friend of the Obama family.
So it's incredibly stupid, all in all. I think he did it as a claim to fame.
Yeah, he said he was underpaid, and his job is like he gets paid $400K or $45K a year.
Yeah,
he wanted a raise to like $98K.
Wow.
I know he wanted a raise for sure.
Definitely one of the more idiotic stories I've ever seen. I really do appreciate independent news in terms of covering this,
and of course
adding a good deal of skepticism to the claims and story he was made. And of course,
just like every other time someone brings the independent news, you got to put that asterisk right next to the Young Turks, because Cenk Uygur again had to defend him. Even Anna Kasparian, who is again also a moron, just like Cenk, was the voice of reason. Now again, Anna Kasparian, this woman who I forgot all the crazy stuff she says, but she said like I'm trying to remember multiple things.
You can't narrow that down.
She was the voice of reason to Cenk. And I don't know if they're live or not, but the way that Cenk was talking, she had no idea that Cenk was going to come out saying this. Like, let's get this thing. Democrats in Chicago are pissed off at this verdict. Rob Emanuel, again, another former Obama administration employee, rallied against this, calling it unfair. Now again, Robert Emanuel, Mr. Corruption himself, is calling out, saying that this is a messed up verdict. The Chicago police, who devoted so much time and effort into this, are pissed off. Everyone except the Attorney General, who is apparently also has a photograph with her and Kamala Harris being friends.
Oh, wink. Okay, all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't label this as conspiracy theory. Whatever Polish Woloski, whatever her name is that runs YouTube. We're not conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, we're not peddling a conspiracy theory. We're talking about facts here. Wait, would you?
Yeah. So yeah, it's just an incredibly dumb thing, and I also just want to throw this out there. We did it, guys. We've proven once and for all that black people can get away with crimes too. We did it. It's not just OJ, everyone.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, we did it.
Definitely Jussie
We
Smollett.
did it, MLK.
Definitely Jussie Smollett has to earn the title for stupidest stunt pulled.
No, I think this goes
So
to
far?
the district attorney.
There's definitely some bribery going on there.
Oh, by the way,
the
deal was he was supposed to do community service, but guess what? He already did the community service previously. That's being accounted for as a community service that he has to do.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
There's definitely that was definitely some kind of bribery there. I'm gonna give a special shout out to the case about all those Hollywood actors and wealthy people paying so that their kids could make it into Ivy League schools.
Which, by the way, I don't really get how this is a scandal. Most of the time, if you get into an Ivy League school, it's because of money. But I guess because now that, in today's world where Joe Biden being creepy is front page news, where everyone's kind of like, oh, I thought that was obvious. Yeah, college is already a gigantic crap hole anyway, so a bunch of rich white people getting in because of money isn't really particularly news, since that's how you get into an Ivy League school.
But,
I mean, what? Do you get there because of your grades?
Special recognition to being a close second as far as being very, very dumb. Is paying people for fake accolades. Earn it like everybody else, I'd say.
Yeah, you need to earn those fake accolades. You got to pretend to be another race. Yeah.
Don't listen to him. We've gone on long enough. But yeah, internet, let me know what you think about any of these stories, especially the Smollet case being dismissed, the Mueller report.
Be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook.
Right, great. Thanks for that. So have a good one, bro.
Donald Trump re-election.
Take care, everyone.